We were very excited to get hold of the land, and were quite thrilled with what was planned for it, and we decided to leave it as a sort of static park area. Sometimes I think we make very quick decisions, and in this case we decided to leave it as it was, put the walkway through there so that people could just enjoy it, and I have to say to this very day it is used for lots of different things, so that's great. And it was sort of talked about at the time that we might somehow dedicate that area to the Fencibles. I actually suggested Fencible Walk because it was a walkway, and Fencible Walk, hence the Fencibles that came here of course came from the UK, so it became Fencible Walk, which was really delightful. So I'm a person that grew up in Howick. I've lived here, been educated here and worked here pretty much throughout my life, and around the time where Fencible Walk came to be, I was wearing several hats. So I was a member of the local community board, and I was also working full-time as a police officer.
So what happened was we applied for a grant. Somebody had explained to us that there were some arts grants available through the Auckland Council, which is through, of course, the local board, put the arts grants up. So we applied for them on a committee, the Village Association Committee anyway, for a few years, and we were looking for how we could get more art into Howick, more permanent art. And we already had some mosaics in Howick, but there were a few issues with them. They were put in what they call a direct method. They were actually stuck onto walls. I'm a Howickian, that's what I suppose the word is, isn't it? I've lived here most of my life. I was born in Wellington though, and I've been doing mosaics. I'm a mosaicer and I love mosaicing, or a mosaicist as they call them, and I've been doing that for probably about 25 years. So the present, past and future perhaps is a good way of looking at it. So the first mural on the wall is of the market, which is very modern obviously. It's of Howick Village Market. So that's something that happens every Saturday in Howick, and so that made sense to put something up there that had water in it, a few sails, Flat Island, and the Putakawa tree of course, which is a great symbol of New Zealand. And then the next one is Music Point, I believe. So Music Point was established in the 30s. It's a radio station. It is now, the land is Māori land up there now, but the building was an Art Deco building. I love Art Deco art, so I thought that would be quite cool, and it's very iconic. Then there's Shamrock Cottage of course, which is the second oldest building in Manukau. So it's a protected site, it's now a cafe. It was for the Fencibles, which Fencible Walk is named after, who were the retired soldiers, of course, from England, who moved out here well over a century and a bit ago. So they moved out here, they were retired out here, they acquired some land from the locals, and that was a port of call for them.
In 1992, the police station that was on that site over there was renovated. In fact, they nicknamed it the Alamo because it had a sort of a Wild West vibe about it. Just the front facade looked like the old Western Alamo. So it served very well, and as a police officer I was based there. And then gradually the staff there just grew bigger and bigger, and they had a couple of auxiliary buildings out the back, but they sort of were very, they were full, so they ended up pulling that particular building down.
Fencible Walk was an area that had a police station on it. That was where our local police station was, and it was quite big. It went right through to the back where the library was, and a couple of other small buildings there. And of course that was all turned into this park, which was part of a 30-year plan. It was toned down quite a bit. I think they realised how big a space was. I think it got a little bit expensive, but they've put this lovely path in that connects the main road of Howick through back to the public library and back down to Uxbridge Road, which of course takes you down to Howick Beach.
The Howick plan originated from the fact that we had 2 or 3 strategic pieces of land in the area that we felt we'd like to try and hold on to, because with an area that's ever changing and growing, you never know what those pieces of land might be useful for later on. You know, it may be that Howick decides it wants to have a town hall, or it wants to have another significant community buildings.
So Fencible Park has been developed through the council and through consultation with the public as well. So we were allowed to put submissions through on what we thought would be good for Fencible Walk. I quite like it. It does remind me of old-fashioned, but there's a lot of people in Howick that would really like to stick with the old-fashioned theme, but I like moving forward as well. I don't think it's bad to remember your past, but I think it's also good to embrace the future as well.
I would like to see it remain an open space, because I think passive parks are really important. But maybe we'll do something to pay homage to those Fencibles, whether that will be a piece of public art, whether it will be a statue, whether it will be a wall perhaps commemorating families.
Park spaces are valuable. It is council-owned land. They could sell it and put a 10-storey building in there if they wanted to, but they don't. So they choose to make it available to the public. So it's really important that we use it and utilise it. Otherwise, it could be taken away from us.